Chosen ones. You weren't sent to this earth to fit in, you were sent to break chains, shake atmospheres, and expose the darkness with the fire that was planted deep inside your soul before you even took your first breath, because long before you were born, the battle had already begun in the unseen realm, and God looked across the timeline of humanity and said, "This one, this child, this soul will carry my fire and war against the darkness in ways even angels marvel at." And that's why your life has never been normal, why your battles have always felt bigger, your storms more intense, and your trials almost unbearable, because you weren't made for comfort, you were made for conflict, and the enemy has always known who you are, even when you didn't, and that's why hell tried to silence you early, crush your spirit, steal your confidence, and convince you that you're not enough. But here's the truth they don't want you to realize: you are enough, not because of your strength, but because of the fire of the living God that dwells within you, a fire that cannot be quenched, cannot be drowned, cannot be manipulated, and cannot be stolen. And it is this fire that makes you a demon slayer in human form, a walking rebuke to hell, a carrier of divine authority, an intercessor, a warrior, a breaker of generational curses. And when you walk into a room, every demon assigned to your bloodline trembles, because they know what you carry even when you doubt it yourself, and that's why you've been through spiritual warfare that doesn't make sense to others, why your pain has always been unusually heavy, your rejection unexpectedly brutal, and your loneliness deeply spiritual, because isolation has always been the devil's attempt to abort your activation, to keep you from realizing that your wilderness wasn't punishment, it was preparation, a consecration chamber where God refined your fire, removed your idols, killed your ego, and restructured your heart, because He knew that to carry this kind of fire, your soul needed to be trained, broken, purified, and set apart. And that's exactly what has been happening. Even when you thought your life was falling apart, it was really falling into place for divine alignment, because you weren't created to beg for acceptance, you were born to command the room, shift the temperature of your generation, and raise the spiritual bar for those bound by compromise. Because when you open your mouth, something breaks in the spirit, and when you worship, demons scatter like insects from fire, and when you pray, heaven pays attention, not because of your perfection, but because of your purity, your surrender, and your obedience, which has cost you more than anyone knows, and yet you're still standing, still believing, still pushing, and that alone is a threat to the kingdom of darkness, because every time you got knocked down, you stood back up with more fire, more faith, and more fight, and that scares the enemy because he knows what happens when a chosen one realizes their power. They become unstoppable, they stop apologizing, they start praying differently, they start praising louder, and they start moving with a level of authority that doesn't come from man, it comes from heaven, and that's exactly what's being unlocked in you right now. An unshakable confidence, a supernatural discernment, and an untamed boldness to cast out, tear down, and rebuild everything the enemy tried to destroy. And if you've been feeling the heat lately, like everything's been intensifying, your emotions, your warfare, your dreams, it's because you're in the final stages of activation, where God is awakening the fire that's been buried beneath your pain, buried beneath your confusion, buried beneath your self-doubt, and He's calling it forth now, saying, "My child, rise, it's time." And some of you reading this feel like giving up, like you've failed too many times, but hear me, God is not asking for perfection, He's asking for permission, for surrender, for yes, because He knows that fire cannot fully flow through a heart that's still trying to control everything, and He wants your heart back, your whole heart, not just the pieces that are easy to give. And when you finally surrender it all, your fear, your shame, your confusion, that's when you'll feel the fire rise again, stronger, deeper, purer, and that fire will begin to expose the fake friends, the wrong relationships, the hidden demons, the inner wounds, and the real you, the anointed, fire-bearing, chain-breaking, demon-killing you that you were born to be. And this video isn't just a message. It's a call, a divine call to the chosen ones who've been sleeping on their fire, minimizing their power, doubting their calling, and letting the enemy talk louder than God's promises. because now is the time to remember who you are, what you carry, and why you can't afford to stay silent, scared, or small anymore. Because the world doesn't need more copies, it needs your flame, your sound, your roar, and your story. And if this is stirring something inside you, that's not coincidence, that's confirmation that you're being reignited for purpose, and you owe it to yourself to answer this call, to pick up your sword, to open your mouth and declare war against everything that's tried to kill your fire, and let hell know you survived what was meant to destroy you, and now you're activated for destruction, not of yourself, but of every stronghold that's held your family, your mind, your destiny hostage. And as you step into this new level, people will question you, attack you, and misunderstand you. But don't shrink, don't explain, just keep burning, because you were never meant to blend in with the lukewarm. You were meant to burn so brightly that even those in darkness could find their way to God through your flame. So let them talk, let them laugh, let them leave. Just don't let your fire die, because the kingdom needs what's in you, and God is saying, you were born to kill demons, and now the fire I placed in you is about to erupt. And now, as the fire within you begins to rise, understand this. You were never meant to live a soft, comfortable life hiding behind fear and false identity. God put a warrior inside of you, and you've spent too long playing small so others could feel big, shrinking your voice so others wouldn't feel convicted, hiding your light to protect people who were never assigned to your destiny. But now heaven is shaking you awake, stirring your spirit, and pulling you out of the shadows, because your silence is costing lives, your hesitation is holding back generations, and your fear is blocking the fire that was meant to set others free. So God is declaring over you today, no more running, no more doubting, no more delaying. It's time to rise, warrior, not because you feel ready, but because hell already knows who you are and is terrified you're about to realize it too. And when that fire is fully awakened, demons won't just flee from you. They'll scream at your presence, because they'll recognize the authority you walk in, not because you earned it, but because you were born with it, marked with it, forged in fire through every heartbreak, every betrayal, every sleepless night, and every spiritual battle you survived without applause. Because your scars are not signs of failure, they are signs of survival, proof that even when hell came for you, it couldn't finish you, because heaven has the final word over your life, and that word is anointed, chosen, refined, and released. And now that you've survived the fire, it's time to use it, because there's a sound coming out of your life that hell can't replicate, a move of God through you that religion can't manufacture, and a glory upon you that no man can take credit for. And people will wonder how you carry so much oil, but they won't know the crushing you went through, the tears you cried when no one was looking, the nights you begged God to take the pain away, and He said, "No, I'm making you into something hell can't handle," because fire doesn't just burn, it purifies. And while others were celebrating platforms, God was refining your character, stripping you of pride, weaning you off applause, and anchoring your identity not in people, but in His presence, so that when the time came for you to rise, you wouldn't rise as another celebrity, but as a vessel, an unshakable, unbreakable weapon formed in the furnace of affliction. And that time has come. This is your release season, your rise moment, your prophetic push into divine purpose. And now the heavens are roaring over you, saying, "Go forth, child of fire. Go forth and set captives free. Go forth and speak what others are too afraid to say. Go forth and cast out every demon sent to stop your family, because your bloodline needed someone to say enough, and you are the one. And this is why your life never looked normal, because your call has never been normal, and God didn't put you through the wilderness to abandon you. He put you there to prepare you, to train your hands for war and your heart for purity, so that when the moment came, you wouldn't just perform, you would carry glory. And now glory is what you walk with, fire is what you carry, and purpose is what you breathe. So let them call you crazy, too much, too intense. Let them misunderstand, mislabel, and mock. Because while they talk, you'll walk in miracles. While they gossip, you'll shift atmospheres. And while they doubt, you'll cast out demons in the name of Jesus. Because you were never made to be understood. You were made to be unleashed, and now you're stepping into that season of holy unleashing, where every tear becomes oil, every trial becomes fuel, and every no becomes your redirection into God's yes. So walk boldly now, speak louder now, pray deeper now, because the fire is no longer optional, it's your identity. And the world is about to watch someone they overlooked become someone they can't ignore, not because of ego, but because of evidence. And the evidence is this. No matter how many times they counted you out, you're still standing, you're still burning, and you're still chosen. And no demon, no lie, no past mistake can change the fact that you were born to kill demons, and God put fire in you to do it.